So I'd just like to start off by welcoming Morena to the podcast. So just an introduction to the podcast. If you're listening to this for the first time, there's a first episode that I put up, which you would be good to listen to. But just an introduction. So the Urban Discourse is basically just a platform in which I hope to have like discussions about the various issues that are facing urban planners, city managers, engineers, and we know that for the first time ever, urban population is now higher than rural populations, and there's actually estimates that about over 55% of the world's population is now living in urban areas. This is something that maybe people take for granted because they don't really think about, I think, the proportions of people living where. So I think this is something that I found quite surprising first time I learned about it. Just to know that for the first time in history, we have more people living in cities than in rural areas. But I think that definitely comes with its own challenges because now cities will only get bigger and denser. More people are going to be living in smaller spaces, and this obviously increases the challenge for planning how those people will live, but also how the waste that inevitably compiles as people live in whatever space, how that waste will be dealt with. So basically this podcast aims to discuss a lot of these challenges with a slight incline towards water sanitation and also solid waste management in cities. So with that introduction, I'd just like to invite Morena to introduce herself and just tell us a bit about herself. But I will start off by stating that she recently graduated a couple of weeks ago.
Yes.
Yeah, and I was honored to graduate with her, be with her in the same class. But also I think she's gonna say a bit more about that. So tell us about yourself and just introduce yourself.
Okay. Hi, Kuzwayo. A little bit about myself. My name is Morena Akurut. I'm Ugandan, originally from Uganda, and I have an original background of civil engineering, but I veered a bit off. Okay, not off, but I focused more on water and sanitation, and back in Uganda was doing a lot of basically water supply and production, and but I had like a big interest in sanitation. So when this opportunity came up, it's like a career change for me, but it's definitely what I wanted. I wanted to get out of water, get into sanitation, like a little bit more focused. So that's how I came here. And that's a bit about me. So now I'm just starting into what I actually love. Like this is now my starting point. Yeah.
To take you back before I get into the civil engineering aspect.
Yeah.
If you were not an engineer, what would you do for a living?
Okay, weird question, but I think somehow it takes me back to where I think I want to end up. Initially, like in everything that I wanted to do, I thought I want to do a job that helps people directly. Like in a certain way, in a humanitarian way. Like I wanted to do work that when I do this, I see that someone's life has been changed. Like maybe their health, or especially for people who can't help themselves. That's always where my mind was.
Sounds like you're saying nurse.
Weirdly, I was looking at nurse, doctor. Like the point was doing something that when I do it, someone is helped. So that's why even with a civil engineering background, at first I started with like roads, and it didn't feel like whole to me because I was like, so who am I helping? I don't know.
Did you start working in roads, or you just thinking?
I did, and I was not inspired because yes, I loved it, but I felt like I wasn't helping anyone. So that's why I went into water, which at least made me feel like I'm helping people. But sanitation was my ultimate, which was basically exactly where I wanted to end up.
Would you say your transition to water was deliberate, or was it just like an opportunity came and you're like, let me take it?
Oh no, it was deliberate.
I see.
I had that opportunity for roads and structures.
Yeah, yeah.
A very good opportunity. But I was like, I'm still young. At that point, I was straight from uni, and I thought that if I start my life in this direction, I'll be stuck. So I had to deliberately look for opportunities in water.
I see.
And then go into, which was so strange because you also have a civil engineering background. Most civil engineers don't really go into water.
Yeah.
So, but like, it was deliberate. I felt like I couldn't get stuck. That's it.
Yeah, I feel like your story is a bit different from mine, because for me, like at my university, when I finished my civil engineering, actually during my studies, I don't think working in water was sort of like the popular thing for engineers to do, like you already mentioned. So I think for me, water, even like the courses for water, they were like towards the end, where it's like, we're sort of done with school, we're just like, let's get this done with.
Yeah.
And very like, not very detailed.
Yeah.
So when I started working, I said first like in construction, like supervision of concrete works and stuff like that. So for me, the move to a water utility was, I think, more opportunity. It's like, I have a 9-month contract right now. I need more stability in my life. I need more money. So that's how I moved. So I think it's interesting that you made a very deliberate.
Mine was quite
choice.
deliberate. Like I had to turn down a really nice opportunity, and then get
like more. You turned down more money to go into water.
Yes, it was more money because it was actually like maybe 3 times the salary. So that was difficult, but I knew that like I'm a person who, when I do something that I love, I will not feel sad. Like I really need to get into what I wanted, which is this.
Yeah, and that's really interesting, I think, to hear. So what would you say to, I think, someone who is currently like in the final year at your university or
anywhere?
Yeah.
Okay, if you're anything like me, just
undergrad, by the way.
Yeah, I'm saying undergrad. Yeah. If you're anything like me, just look for something you have passion for, whatever it is. I mean, it could be anything, because civil engineering offers so many opportunities. Like actually, I think most times when you get out of school, you're even more confused because there is like roads, there's construction, there's contracts, there's everything. There's public health, there's a lot. So whatever it is, because once you choose for civil engineering, once you pick, you kind of have to focus for a while. Like you end up finding that your master's is going to be in that direction. So career-wise, is to just pick something that you're interested in, whatever it is. Like, because once you pick, imagine like if I decided right now that I wanted to go and do roads, for example, I definitely would have to go back to undergrad level. I have to like remember. So there's a lot that you have to go back to. So once you pick, you pick. So I think just as long as you have passion and interest, that's it. And also, I mean, money.
I mean, if it was all about the money, we would probably all be in roads. Because I feel like,
yes, if it was about the money, definitely.
And at least you had the choice. I think I actually tried to apply for some like jobs at road agency, where it's like I feel like a lot of the students probably in my, not just my intake, like a lot of people are just thinking, look, if I'm gonna make money,
definitely
I should probably join.
No, I had the chance.
The road sector.
The reason why I had that opportunity is because I actually did my internship at one of like the biggest roads. So when you do internship with them, you have a better chance. So of course, automatically I applied. I get it was like an internship, but like they're training you sort of like a trainee, which is like a 6-month thing, which I could have pursued, but I don't know.
Anyway, we're here now.
Yeah, we're here now.
So it seems your path is very much set in water, sanitation. Mostly sanitation, I think. What was your journey like, starting, sort of transitioning from work into studying a master's in water in sanitation? And maybe you could just.
So as I said, I at my previous job, I had only worked in water. That's just production and distribution. So I had little to no experience in sanitation. Like, actually, I would say little. I just had interest. Like, that's all I was running on. Like, to apply for this master's was interest, no experience. So of course I came in like fresh, but I was so interested in it, and I met all you guys who had a bit of a background, and that was good for me, because like picking from people who have a little bit of experience was good. And then of course the process, like the school takes you through like as though you've never ever done it. So that's a good thing, because for some of us it was like we have never, I don't know anything about design or anything sanitation related. So
but we did you do any design courses in water sanitation?
Yes,
in sanitation in like undergrad?
We did, but remember, in undergrad it's not very so I had ideas, but of course this was like more elaborate. But for me it was very new but very nice, because many of my classmates had a bit of an idea, so that was a good thing, because remember we did a lot of group work. So you like pick from so many people experiences. So the journey, it was a proper transition for me, but the journey was really nice. And I think it's just the way they teach, in a way that as though they're teaching you from a blank slate. So even like some of you guys who had a bit of background, they were teaching all of us like as though we had never, which was very good, because it kind of takes you back to basics. And so it was a journey. It was new, very very new to me. But
why IHE in particular? How did you always consider coming to IHE? At what point did it become something you'd consider?
Okay, so of course, based on the fact that most of my teachers and classmates are not in the water sector, I didn't have I would say people to say, no, this is a very good university. I didn't have all that. But at my
so
work,
you didn't know about it while you were still in undergrad?
Nothing, nothing at all. So when I started working, I was trying to look for a uni to apply to, and my boss at that time had studied here, but like 19 something. Sorry. So, but I don't know. I felt like there were a number of people at my workplace who had studied here, and I was like, this seems to be a good uni, So I started looking at it, and I was like, for people in the water and sanitation sector, they talk a lot about IHE. So I started researching on it. I was like, this is nice. So I got the interest about it from people at work.
I see.
So I had a few people at work who had studied here. Although they were in the older generation, there's something I trusted. And then also my dad. My dad studied here.
I see.
Still a long time ago. This is all.
So it's like a family. IHE is like a family affair right now.
I think so. But for water and sanitation, everybody just felt like this was the Bible school. IHE. There is something special about it. So I was like, I cannot miss out on being part of this community.
I think it's a very similar experience for me. My dad did not study here, but I think I also learned about IHE from a lot of senior officials at my water utility, and I think I reached a point where I realized when I looked up, for example, if I was connected to someone on LinkedIn, and this was someone who was a big voice in water and sanitation, I guess 2 times out of 5 that person would be from IHE.
Yes.
And I just it sort of became a subconscious thing for me. It seemed to be the next reasonable step to take if I was gonna I think thrive in the water sector. And it's obviously not the only school, but I think it's quite a popular, if not the most popular in my network, at least from what I've noticed. Were your expectations met when you came to IHE?
I
You had expectations?
No, I didn't. I actually weirdly did not have
Mm.
expectations because I didn't have, I don't know. I think I just came thinking of the unis we have back home.
Yeah.
I don't know what I expected, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't know what a master, like, I knew masters.
When you say unis back home, like, what contrast are you?
My worry was like, there's this thing where like sometimes you can't find your lecturer, like you're doing your research. Like in my head, I was thinking, oh God, this is what we're going to go through.
Yeah.
So I was gladly surprised. I was, the lecturers and the people here are very available. I think that was the shock for me.
Yeah.
Like, and that was really good. You feel supported the whole journey. Like you kind of don't feel lost. Like if you do feel lost, there's somebody who you can actually go to and be like, yeah. So it was kind of nice. Yeah, I think I didn't have expectations, but the experience was good. Yeah.
So did you have any fears though?
Yes.
About, I guess, the difficulty of the work?
Yeah, because whenever someone talks to you about a master's, they say it with so much fear, yeah?
Yeah.
So there was something, I was like, are we going to make it?
It seems like a very...
It seems so...
Like a different beast.
Yeah, and I finished my undergrad maybe 5 years ago. So, yeah, 5 or 4, I don't remember. But like, so I felt like getting back into school, and school that is a beast that everybody fears. And then everyone was like, oh my God, research, it's going to be hard. Like, I don't know. Like everybody fears research. Even at home, all my friends who have done their masters at unis in Uganda, the biggest thing they fear, not school, not class, research.
Yeah, research is something else.
Yeah, so I think those were the fears I had. Research, and of course, being far away from family. Like, I don't know. Not that I would go and, like, I don't know, just the distance, and then having to, I don't know. It's just the unknown, and then we're in a new country, new continent, the weather. Like, I was asking myself, will we be able to come to class in the winter? I don't know what I thought winter was.
I see.
But like I thought, will we?
Like you'd be stuck in the snow or something.
In the snow? I don't know. Or the
and
cold.
it only snowed like what, twice since you came here? Once?
Once? Like once or twice, I think so.
I think only
that one day, but it was cold.
Heavy snow once.
Yeah, but light snow, okay. But the thing is, you think that it will be so cold that you can't go to class. But then people ride in the rain, in the sun, in the cold, 0 degrees, people on their bicycles. That was shocking. Yeah,
I get that. Yeah, quite an interesting, I think, transition. So I think one of the things that you brought up is your different experience in terms of like what you haven't really gone into your experience in terms of the research yet. But that was something that you kind of feared coming in. What are some of the ways you would contrast your research? And I'd like us to get into your research in more detail. But I'd just like the process first. What would you say are some of the differences in terms of your experience at undergrad and your experience here?
Wow. Okay. In terms of school or research?
Let's start with school. Actually, school.
School. Okay. Because the program is 1 year, class was, like, I would say more intense. Because we used to be here from like 8 in the morning till 5 on many days. So that was a bit tricky. But I think, I don't know, maybe my mindset had changed. It didn't feel as heavy. Undergrad felt heavy. Maybe because it was so new. I honestly don't know. But of course, the expectations at a master's level are much higher. There are a lot of, like, the pass marks are high. The pressure, the assignments, the exams, like everything. The pressure is it's a lot of pressure compared to undergrad. I don't know if it's because of the time or the situation, but master's level is definitely more intense. In terms of research, wow, it's completely different. My undergrad research, I think there was really not much pressure. I honestly think there was pressure, but not so much pressure. But this one, first of all, we were given 3 weeks to come up with a good proposal. That was a lot of pressure. And remember, because it's master's level, there's a type of quality. I remember I got away when I looked at my undergrad.
When did you look at when's the last time you saw your undergrad?
I was doing a postgraduate back in Uganda, and I was supposed to do some small research. So I wanted to refer.
I see.
And I was so disappointed. I was like, how did I write?
At least you've been brave enough to. I can't even dare to go and read that paper because I feel like
you'll be so angry with yourself because it was so substandard, like the language. And I remember the worst thing, the most embarrassing thing, honestly, was the literature review. Because I don't remember what I did.
Wait, were you embarrassed about your literature review?
I wasn't.
Back then or recently?
No, this. I learned how to do a literature review.
No, I mean,
properly.
When did you?
When I looked at my when I was doing my postgraduate,
I see.
And I saw because postgraduate people are much older.
Yeah.
So I saw people's real
work
literature, and I was like, what did we? I don't know what I did.
Yeah.
So the pressure was much less. We were being guided, yes, but it was much less. Here, your literature review is important, and people read, and your background is important. Actually, everything is important. Master's level, a proposal in 3 weeks. It seems like it's impossible, but we did it. But it's so much pressure because the quality they expect from a master's student is serious. And of course, because our program was very short, the process of
it's very short compared to I think others.
No, but even if
I guess in other places it's not
even
considered short.
Uganda, it's 2 years. So the research is a full year. Our research here was 3 months, but we still had to produce.
Could it be because a lot of the programs are master's programs are part-time?
Yeah, that's why.
So people are working and doing school.
Yeah. But that kind of also gives you some time. But here it's full-time. And of course the process of collecting data, because I did my research in Bosnia and Herzegovina. Now, that being in a new country, I didn't have time to adjust that it's a new country because I don't have time. I didn't have time to accept that I'm in a new country, and there was no time. I had to start collecting data immediately. And then immediately you come back, you land back in Netherlands. The next day you start seriously writing. So the pressure of the masters, it's serious. I
feel like you're scaring people right now.
Okay.
One thing that I think I would like you to touch on is I think the way that research is done here. I'm not sure how it's done at other institutions in Europe or around the world, but I think one thing that I found really helpful is the fact that you have a mentor and a supervisor. So basically you work quite closely with the mentor. Would you talk about how your relationship with your research mentor helped with just the entire process of research, and if that did significantly affect how the outcome of your research?
So as much as I said yes, there was so much pressure, a lot of this pressure is reduced greatly by having a mentor who is available. Now, even when I would feel like I'm a bit confused about something, your mentor is literally always there. I had her number. Even if I couldn't send her an email and maybe she was not in the country, she was open. Please just text me. Send me a message if ever you feel a bit overwhelmed or confused about something. So there was nothing that I felt there was no time when I felt left alone. That was very important because you know, when you look, especially at proposal level, you're looking at things for the first time.
Yeah.
Truth is, you may not know
Mm.
what it means. You don't know how to
Yeah.
explain it. So you go to them and just be like, I'm lost. I'm confused here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm confused here. I don't know what to do here. And then they kind of like guide you. They don't give you the answers, obviously, but they guide you and they like pace, like make you relax. And so even the writing of research, your mentors and your supervisors are literally like, I would say, lifeline.
Yeah.
Because you're very overwhelmed with a lot of things because this is the first time you're doing it.
Yeah.
Okay, for me and you, right? This is our first time to do a master's, so we didn't understand this kind of, you know, pressure, and we were new into this environment.
Yeah.
So having someone to kind of like hold your hand, and it wasn't just academic. Like even when I was doing my research and I felt I was having a challenge maybe with the food. I was in a new country.
Yeah.
So I was like, so I talked to her. I was like, I'm failing. She's like, okay, so what can we do? Like, so she's like, maybe try this, try. Like, it was.
What were you even eating in Bosnia? I'm just thinking.
So at first.
I can only picture like cheese and bread, you know.
Yeah, it was
pretty bad.
It was tricky at first, very, very tricky. But because I couldn't find a place to eat, and of course, like there was a language barrier challenge, but eventually, when I was talking to my supervisor, was so helpful because he's from that country, so he was so helpful and he guided me and helped me find places where I could find, and then when I found those places, I found gems, amazing food. So you can imagine something as small as
It's
food.
like takeout, like you get takeout
Yeah,
from restaurants. Or...
Yeah, but it was nice, like homemade food.
I see.
Very nice food. But where I was, there was no food. But I'm saying like something as small as food, or where I was staying.
Yeah.
Like I was not comfortable in the first place I was staying. I talked to them. They were like, okay, let's find a new place. So it wasn't just books.
Yeah. So you're saying the process is like a holistic.
Yeah.
Learning process. It's not just like taking care of your mental progress, but also just like, are you comfortable?
Are you okay?
Yeah.
I can't remember. I can't forget the time.
Yeah.
I don't remember how many times they asked me if I'm okay.
Yeah.
Are you okay? Are people treating you nicely? And I was shocked because I realized that, okay, clearly they're not only asking like about my research, my results, they want to know if I'm okay because so it's actually meant the supervisor mentor relationship here is like gold. I would say, because there's a lot.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's not everyone who has like a good relationship.
Okay.
I've had like friends who've had I guess like bad experiences with their mentors, and feel like I haven't met my mentor in I don't know how long, or like I haven't I feel like they're always criticizing my work and things like that. So I think it's not obviously like painting a perfect picture about that relationship. Obviously, like in any relationship, like human beings are
not everyone.
Not everyone's gonna have like something that fits perfectly. But I think it's a really good arrangement because you don't feel like you are doing something on your own.
No.
And I feel like one of the things that helped me personally was just like, you know, as much as you can trust your own effort, like, you know, like I'm not gonna give like 50% effort. I'm gonna give like 100%. If you give me work, I'm gonna give like 100%.
Yeah.
But I find feedback very useful because it's like when I'm at 30%, I'm like, I want to know how far I've gone. So like I need someone to I need a sounding board.
Yes.
Like these are my ideas. What do you think? And then they're like, nah, this is not making sense. Turn left, turn right. You know, like, and I feel like by the time you're reaching the end, you've probably like made so many adjustments that even if you put in like 100% effort, without the input, it wouldn't have been good work.
Not at all.
So I feel like that's like it's something that everyone pretty much needs, because I feel like no one can work in isolation. So yeah, I think that was personally my own takeaway.
Yeah, I agree.
Zeroing in to your topic, what was your research about? And yeah, just tell us a bit about.
So I was looking into a pilot scale technology that uses microwave radiation to treat sludge. And specifically I was testing sewage sludge.
Mm.
So, because of it, like in every wastewater treatment plant, you cannot dodge sludge. Sludge must be produced, like it's a byproduct. So, but most times you find that people don't know what, once the sludge is produced, they don't know what to do, because effluent, people treat, take it back into maybe a river or whatever, but most people don't know what to do with sludge. So many people come up with, there's so many like methods that have come up. Incineration, some people want to like use it for agriculture, but of course there are limitations here and there, like the pathogens, and there's so many limitations, because remember, byproduct, that means everything that has not been treated settles in the sludge.
So basically, like for someone who is not conversant with like wastewater treatment, or so sludge is like the solid part, and then semi-solid or solid part of the wastewater
that is not treated.
That's not treated, and then the effluent, like you mentioned,
is
is
the
like
water,
the
liquid.
the liquid part.
Yeah.
So you're focusing on the
sludge.
on the sludge itself.
So
is this sludge only from wastewater, or even like on-site systems like pit latrines? So the method that you was focusing on?
Specifically, the country I was in, they don't have a lot of on-site, so I was focusing on sewage sludge. But that pilot scale technology can work on also septic sludge and faecal sludge.
I see.
So the findings are helpful for all those three situations. It's just that I was testing sewage sludge. So as I said, it's very problematic. So what I was doing was getting a certain amount of the sludge and putting it in that system, which was well protected, and then radiating it with microwaves. And after a certain time, testing, most importantly, has it reduced the volume, because that's the biggest thing. Because even if you're taking the sludge to the landfill, let's say if you're taking 1,000 tons and I reduce it to 1 ton, definitely it's going to be cheaper.
Much cheaper.
So it managed to reduce the volume. So even if you're not going to use the sludge again, at least you're going to transport it in less sludge, so it's cheaper. And on top of that, in most of those landfills, when you take sludge, you have to pay an environment fee, which is like you have to pay for the environment. You're obviously going to put the sludge there, it's going to seep into the ground. So if you take dry sludge, your environment fee is less. So
are you focusing on drying so you're using wet fecal sludge, right? Like raw?
Yes, raw, like just after maybe a centrifuge. Yes.
And then you said you place it
in the machine.
In the machine,
yeah. It's a batch by batch for now, because it's a pilot scale, but with more research we can make it a continuous, so that you just keep like growing.
How big is the machine?
It's not that big.
I know it's just a pilot.
It's a pilot, so it was maybe like fitting, maybe I would say square meters, maybe like 8. Not so big though. So and it's batch by batch, so obviously it's still that's a bit difficult. You can't just put every kilogram. So with time we shall make a continuous system. But so it managed to reduce the volume and managed to kill pathogens. Amazing. So those are most important things, like pathogens and the water. And then it so happened that it did not remove a lot of the nutrients. So that means that you can still use the dried sludge for like agriculture.
I see.
Because if you compare it to things like burning, incineration makes it ash, so you cannot use it again. So and also produces like those greenhouse gases in the process. Now this one only focuses. The reason why I was very interested in this was its focus. Microwaves focus on water only. So they don't. So
the microwaves basically transfer like heat energy into the water.
Yes, they make the water. Yeah, there's a process, and then make the water come out. So it doesn't destroy the sludge. It just removes the water, and then of course the pathogens. So that means you're not producing dangerous gases in the process. You're not, it's not taking a lot of energy. It's just removing water. That's all, just water. So you remain with like a dry cake, which has little water.
Were you also looking at, for example, like heavy metals?
No, now that was because it was a bit time costly, but it was one of my recommendations because that is the most important, especially for reuse in agriculture. Because what I was looking at was seeing how to enhance that sludge to make it good for reuse. The most important thing here was reuse, and heavy metals is something most people look at. Yeah. So specifically for sewage sludge, heavy metals tests are important. So if, of course, if there was more time, these are things that we needed to do more. And see if it can move.
And I understand like this is ongoing research.
Ongoing.
What do you think? Let's take some time to speculate. Like, what do you think is the future of that technology in terms of like applying it in practical situations? Let's imagine it in your country, for example. What do you think is the future?
I'm hoping that we will be able to incorporate it in a treatment plant, like make it one of the technologies. Like, you know how it comes out of the centrifuge and it goes straight into this microwave. And then, if possible, we can even crush the dry, after we've tested that it will be good, we can crush it. Because, like, for example, if you're going to use it for agriculture, it's better if it's like in powder form. So if that can be like a continuous process and then it's even bagged, that would be better. That's what, that's the big picture. That's what I would really want. Something so continuous, less labor, because if there's so much labor involved, people are not interested in it. But if we can mechanize it, like right after centrifuge, straight into the microwave, straight into like a crusher, straight into bagging.
My lecturer always said that whenever you design anything with moving parts, obviously he was talking about our context. It's going to die, and the thing's gonna fail. And like he gave a lot of examples. Like I remember there was this, we visited a treatment plant where there was this trickling filter, and basically it had sort of a mechanism that rotates the machine and like a rotating arm, and it wasn't rotating anymore. So basically he was saying, look, this system has failed because of one part. We can't find one small part. And I think in reality we think of treatment plants in our settings where we don't do a lot of manufacturing. So a lot of the, if we build a machine, for example, if we build a plant that is highly dependent on machines that are manufactured in different countries, when those countries stop manufacturing certain parts, we either have to upgrade immediately or adjust or just make do with those parts. How do you think, how practical is it to use a system that I think relies on microwave technology, I think it sounds like it's also energy intensive as well.
Yes,
how would you deal with those kind of challenges? Or is it something that,
that's actually a very good point, because you're right. Very many times these spare parts are manufactured in Europe, and we have to take like 2 months procurement process and whatever to even get it if it's still in production. But the good thing about the microwave technology is it uses, like, currently the pilot scale is using a basic home microwave. So a microwave is something that is pretty basic. That's the good thing. So of course, industrial size will be, it's not very basic, but the technology is one that is still going. People are going to use microwaves to heat up food for years to come. So I feel like at least specifically with that, it's not something very special.
I see. So it's common technology.
It's common technology.
Reassigning sort of something that's been used in one area.
Yeah, like a lot of the research started with a home microwave, like the one that you used to warm your food.
Yeah.
So this is basic technology.
Yeah.
So if you just industrialize it by just using a bigger generator, which will convert electricity to microwaves, it uses basic technology. So maybe the moving parts would be the pulley system, but I feel like we are also reaching the point where we can, I don't know, maybe speculate. I think we can make those things.
Yeah, I think. And
also pulley systems at least will always be there, I think.
Yeah.
We're just looking far ahead. But it's the good thing with it is it's pretty basic. A lot of the sludge treatment technologies are not basic. They're very high skill and everything. This is not a very highly skilled. Like it doesn't need a lot of high skilled labor, so that's a good thing. You just,
what's next for the research for you as an individual?
For me, currently, still at IHE, trying to publish my work and my findings. Yes. So that's the short term. And my hope in future is I want to continue on with this technology because I kind of, because you started pilot scales, I was the one testing this machine first. Kind of feels like my baby. So
have you given it a name? Does it have a name?
No, it doesn't. But I want to, I would like to be part of the process of making it.
I should name it here and just go like that. First time.
Well, the other name for it is shit killer.
I see.
Yeah. So the shit killer has been very, okay, for me I felt like close to it. So I feel I would
Heard
like...
it here first, shit killer.
Shit killer. So I would like to be part of the process of making it large scale. I don't know how that will go, but like if that's possible, yes. And probably looking out for opportunities for further studies, because it's good to just keep going.
That's PhD.
PhD. Yeah. I feel like now I have gone through the research. I feel like
it's very different because PhD is very research intensive.
I know, but I feel like I don't know, it's something I would like to do.
Yeah. And so I'd mentioned that it sounded like you were sort of scaring people about research. Would you say, from your experience, do you think research is complicated?
No, I don't think research. Okay, here's the thing: when you come in to do research, when you haven't done research for a while or real research, it definitely feels very overwhelming. Yeah. Very, very overwhelming because I don't know. Didn't you read more than 50 articles? Almost 100 articles that you have to. Sometimes you read and then it doesn't have anything for you, but then you have to keep going and keep going. So at first it feels very intense, but you start to get the hang of things. You start to even know how to read an article without reading it, so that you don't waste minutes. But like at first it does feel very intense. But eventually, you get the groove, you get to even understand, you even know how to search for keywords, you know how to know from a title that this is not what you want. So when you get the groove, it's not scary.
Yeah, so basically what you're saying is it's a skill that can be built.
Definitely.
Like research, there are principles, there's, and I feel like most of the time, especially at undergrad, because I feel like we don't have some people I think have the opportunity, depending on which school you study at, to learn the principles of research, be guided. But I think if we understand the basic principles, whether it's ethics, but also just like the tools that you use, I think it sort of demystifies the whole thing, and it becomes less like, I don't know, learning how to play the guitar, and more like you have formulas. Like learn the formulas and you can do the process. Obviously there's a lot of critical thinking involved, but I think it just helps to think about, like, you can actually do it if you can actually learn to do it.
It's very doable.
Is it enjoyable? Was it enjoyable for you? You want to do a PhD, so I'm sure
I do want to do. Okay, here's the thing. I feel like yes, a PhD is a lot of reading, but right now I feel like when I'm interested in something, I feel just it's easy to know what to look for, and with a PhD you even have more access to the people in the field who can give you even more support. You know, like whatever field you're in, you're actually working with people who are in that field, which is amazing. So you feel a bit more like it's like researching on something, and then you're with the people you're researching about. So it doesn't feel far away. It doesn't feel like you know. So definitely, but critical thinking is a skill that you grow, like develop with time. And I think at first, like I'll be honest, all of us felt a bit of pressure. But after that, we got.
Do you feel like you've this is from my own experience, I want to find out what your experience was. Do you feel like you've developed like a thicker skin for receiving criticism? Like like how has your, I don't know, attitude towards like someone criticizing your work, how's that changed during the research process?
You know, we had those feedback classes teaching us how to, you know, but those did not prepare me as much for the feedback that I had to receive. You know, when you feel like you've put in 100%, as you said, and then like your mentor kind of in a nice way tells you that this is like 40%.
This is like
20%. Like this, what does this mean? So at first the first reaction would be like, no, I've put in my effort. But then you relax and trust the process, because one, you tell yourself, one, this person is not here to harm me. They don't have what to gain from me failing. So they actually gain from me going forward. Well, so everything she or he is telling me is for me. The moment you get that, you take a breath and you're like, okay, you get a book and you write down every feedback you're receiving and work on it. And if you feel like maybe I don't understand this feedback, you go back and you're like, okay, you said I should do this, but I don't understand how to. I feel like right now I can, even in, like I can honestly tell you something that I feel like maybe this, I don't like this, I don't understand this, and maybe, okay, I get your point, you should look into it. Thicker skin, like when I say thick, I mean crocodile thick, because your mentors will give you comments that will break your heart at first. But because you feel like you're putting everything and you feel like I've done my best, but then they're like, no.
So you still have like
a lot
more to do.
But to be able to say, this person is not here they're not here to make me suffer. I think this is it, and it has trickled into my personal life. I am able to have conversations with people that are a bit tough and receive them and not die.
I think that's not just like a lesson for research, but I guess it's a good life lesson.
It's a life lesson.
I mean, if we're going to work with people, we must be able to receive feedback from people. And I think whatever work that's in the public domain, like whether you're producing work for, like you mentioned, like you're interested in going into seeing that product sort of go into actually publicly being used.
I'm prepared for
so like people who actually criticize, the users who criticize, you must be able to receive feedback and think about it like, how can I use this to improve, rather than like
potential clients, other researchers who have tried but have not passed through. Well, you don't know what, and also to be able to pick that criticism and realize where it's coming from. Sometimes it might not be constructive, but also still be able to take that non-constructive criticism and say thank you.
And some of it is nonsense.
Most times, from some people it's nonsense, but you being able to see it and be like, okay, thank you, and know that, okay, maybe this person is coming from a not so good place, but still be like, it's fine. Growth. That's growth. Honestly.
What would you say? I almost forgot. How was your so your research received the award for best master's thesis,
along with yours,
along with mine, but we're talking about you right now. So like, what was it like? What was your your reaction?
So I think I told you initially. I first of all, I was very late for the graduation transportation, but so I was a bit like all over the
I won't
place.
reveal what happened on the day.
I was very all over the place. But so when they were announcing, so from history, I had been told that most people, when you get a distinction, they're never the same people for best thesis. Never. Like most times, those are two different people. And so because like they had announced the distinction part, I didn't think
Didn't expect
like
that.
at all, because I knew that these two can never, okay, that's what I was
You
told.
were wrong, but
So I was seated, and I was the guy taking the pictures was right in front of me, so I couldn't see anything. So I was just standing, and then they said, "Oh, the best thesis," and then I was just seated because I couldn't see.
yeah.
So I was just seated, and then like Pratchett tapped me, and then he's like, "Congratulations!" I was like, "What?" So I like leaned over, then I saw our names. I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh, wait!" I was so confused. And also, I use specs, so I couldn't even see. So I was like, "Is that my?" But I was very overwhelmed. I was, they don't tell you in advance, which I think is a good thing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So you kind of are like experiencing everything while you're on the podium and people are taking your photos.
Yeah.
And then I was like, it was so unreal. It was very unreal. I was so happy. I was, first of all, I legitimately knew it was you.
What do you mean you missed?
I thought it was you, like I was very sure.
What, before they announced it?
Yeah, because in my mind I was thinking, best thesis, like I knew that your topic was bomb. So I was like, definitely Kuzwai. So I was just seated there. And I actually turned and I saw you standing. So I was like, oh yeah, Kuzwai. So I'm just like, okay. Because I knew, I was like, I had read some of our people's theses and I was like, I really liked your topic, and I was like, okay. And
My topic was quite controversial.
Very, and that was good. Controversial coming from a man, amazing. Like, I mean, most times when you, for example, when you do like a gender-based topic and you're a man, you know how when we've had those gender conversations, men feel like it's against them, but to be able to take it and like understand what it is, and yes, not make it like men against women, but just make it a fight for who can fight. That was important, and I think, yeah, you knocked it out of the park.
Thank you.
But yeah, I was very, very overwhelmed. Remember, we were just confused. We were standing like, oh my God, it was overwhelming. It was just nice. Yeah. I think I got to terms with it the next day.
Yeah, I can imagine.
The next day.
Yeah, no, it was definitely a great experience.
It was.
And I think, like, just seeing how, I guess, difficult the process was, like has already been mentioned.
Yeah.
I remember very clearly sitting in the library, like sitting opposite to where you were sitting.
We just used to always.
Yeah.
We used to sit in the library every day across opposite ends, and just acknowledging that we are like melting in this research, and
so I guess it's just nice to see the fruit of your work.
Right.
Not only like, of course, it's enough that you graduate and everything, but just like getting the recognition for it is, I guess, like a bonus.
It's extra, and it's amazing.
It's just like encouraging. I think like going forward, you're thinking, hey, like hard work actually works,
Yeah, for IHE lecturers to believe that like our papers were good enough to get such an award, and that was just unreal. Yeah.
So congratulations.
Congratulations too.
Thank you. So I think, like, to close it off, I think you've shared quite a lot and a lot of interesting your stories, like I think the transition from uni to like work and uni again, and now just like thinking forward, like where am I gonna go? So I think it's a very interesting story, and I'm wishing you all the best as you get like into the search, thinking about what to do next. I think
Yeah.
it's a very confusing. I feel like transitions are one of the most difficult things.
Yeah.
Because like when you're in school, like it's tough, but it's like
It's
I
cool.
know
It's
what my
just
life is
school.
about. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? But
After
like when
that-
you're transitioning
Yeah.
from one stage, no matter how much progress you've made, I think it's always a very scary thing. So yeah, like just all the best as you handle that transition. And yeah, if you have any advice you would give to someone who's starting today at IHE, and then yeah, we could close with that.
Okay, if you're starting at IHE, you're going to go through the best introduction time, like meeting your lecturers, and I'm guessing most of us are from, okay, I think, yeah, all of us are not from the country. So there's culture shock, there's weather, there's change of
I
food.
think there's a few.
No, I think all of us. It's an international student school. So all of us are from out of the country, and many of us are not even from the continent. So there's a lot, and then us missing. Your first Christmas without your family, your first New Year, your first birthday, your first, oh my God, your first everything. It will be very, very overwhelming. But when you form a community, like your classmates are your first community, then your countrymates, your next community, your people, your neighbors, your next, like you have communities, and you will sail through, and you know that everybody's here. They're all struggling through the same struggle. You're not struggling alone. So I think enjoy your time. It's 1 year, yes, you've come to study, but you've come to also make friends. You've come to make connections. I am from Uganda. When would I ever have gotten a chance to meet someone from Zambia? To definitely visit Zambia. Yes, it's in plan. Visit Zambia, visit Nigeria, visit India, visit Ethiopia, wherever. When? So getting to see everybody's countries through their eyes, and also having a chance to have a friend there and a connection, like not just a personal connection, but a work connection. Like if we have like a job or something with someone I can easily be like, hey, do you know someone you can recommend? This is a community, and it starts from here. So I think that's good. Like just relax, do your thing, study, but make communities, because that's the only way to stay sane, I think. Because otherwise, like you have your basketball baller, your cool community. So make a
something to ground you.
You need it. Otherwise, your first Christmas alone.
You're gone.
You cry all the tears. Yeah, but it's fine. They'll be fine.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, thanks for joining. I think I really enjoyed the conversation, and
Thank you for having me.
Peace.
Bye.